Good evening. We are live. It is a Monday evening, and we have been away for a while, but we are back. In the build-up and excitement to draft week, as we was talking about just before we came on air, we know that Chris Ballard is drafting up to 4 and getting Marvin Harrison Jr. I've heard it myself from Jimmy from the Colts, Elmway Steakhouse, and any other conspiracy rumor you want to throw in there. Joining me is a man who has a lovely velvet Welsh accent, that to rival Sir Tom Jones, I'd imagine.
You're too kind.
Yeah, Nathan, we're excited. We're I can't even get my words out. We're excited to be back, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been, I would say, on a small hiatus, right? Life has been winning for a few of us at UK Colts fans, but we're back, and what a week to come back, draft week, right?
Draft week. The tension is building, and so is the electricity. We'll be right back after this to discuss the season review. So that's actually Robbie's intro. I need to get one for you, don't I, Nathan? It's only fitting, but that's our universal intro at the minute.
Yeah, it needs to be like WWE, where we all have our own intros.
Elliot comes barging through your door in the bag, gives you a stunner and walks off. No, it's great. We're back. UK Colts fans, as you know yourself, Nathan, we're really trying to push a different type of content this year, a more engaging content, rather than just me waffling on about what's good and what's bad about the Colts. We really want to grow this community, and we'd love to grow it along, with the likes of the explosion of George on Sport, who's doing great stuff for the brand over here, and a manner of other content creators, But let's get started. The 2023-24 season, your initial thoughts, Nathan, when draft came around last year, we're looking at quarterbacks thinking, oh my God, we're actually getting a franchise quarterback, and we select Anthony Richardson. The best choice for you?
Yes. My tablet's fallen, bear with me. Yeah, absolutely. I was team Richardson from the get-go, and seeing that pick come in on draft night was just euphoric. I'm a huge fan of the dual threat. I think the RPO game is really growing in the sport as well. We've seen it work so well over the last few years, and now we have Shane Steichen, who has his man, right? 3 games in, he was gone. What about you?
I mean, you couldn't have summed it up any better. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I am some in the know draft guru. I just watched his highlight reels. I don't really follow college ball massively, so I can't say I wanted this QB, we should trade up for him, he's the best, he's the worst. All I did know was I didn't want Carson Wentz 2.0 in thingy. Whoever plays with Will Levis. Yeah. That's all I knew. Like you, season starts, 3 games in, another quarterback, another injury, and I'm just like, well, it was fun. It was fun.
It was really fun.
But I think it's fair to say, you lived through it with us this year with the UK Colts fans group chat, and we are a roller coaster bunch. It's fair to say it was Minshew fucking madness. The guy, he's probably a really nice guy and great to have a beer with, but he's not a starting QB. He isn't. He can't string together enough performances. Maybe one. He can maybe do a couple of drives, but that's about it. So midway of the season, your thoughts at that point, was it, are we just a quarterback away from the Super Bowl, or has this really knocked us back in our rebuild?
I think it showed for me the absolute, gem we've got in a head coach. You look at what Shane had to do this year. We saw that playbook that was very clearly his in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. We see it working so well with Richardson. Week 1, week 2, there was lots of soft plays just to, move the chains, get him used to the NFL game speed. And then, the complete opposite style of quarterback steps in. And we've seen Shane rewrite the playbook, which is what makes me so excited for this season ahead. I don't think we've seen the half of his creativity yet, because Minshew was never going to be able to scramble, break free, 440 speed run. There was just no way he was going to be able to do that. Are we a quarterback away? I certainly like what I saw in Richardson. As you guys know, I was liked in the group chat up every play he made. But I think we need, if you were to ask me that a month or two ago, then I would have said that I felt good about our playoff chances, right? But then you look around the AFC South, it's becoming, the hot division, right? We've seen huge names coming into it. We've not really seen that with Indy. Yes, we've signed a lot of our own, which was great. But I do think we are a weapon away from really taking the next step.
Yeah. I just want to check you can still hear me, right? Because my internet just slowed down instantly. So
yeah, I can still hear you.
Right. Okay. So I'll bring up the next point, and then I'll let you talk again. But like you say, we were sort of a weapon away from unleashing. For me, it just feels like we're a bit on this this roundabout of we always seem to be one piece away. I know the puzzle's always evolving, but we always seem to be a quarterback away, a weapon away, or etc. I think you're right with what Shane Steichen did. Phenomenal coach. With all due respect to Frank Reich, he wasn't getting us anywhere. He steadied the ship, but that was about it. He wasn't getting us up. Shane Steichen has brought accountability. He's brought an elite level of performance. These are the standards. You stick to the standards, or you're gone. Cutting players for off-field allegations, what I won't get into on the show because I could go into that for a whole rabbit hole of a section. But
you don't want to get sued either.
Yeah. So my next point is we're in a familiar position in a winning game, and we don't. And it's the same old story. And we choked the AFC South, and we bottled it. There was no two ways around it. After that last game, were you hopeful for the new season? Were you just like ready to get Anthony Richardson back like everyone else? What were your thoughts?
So, and I know this was controversial at the time too, but I really liked the play call. I thought the play call was perfect, and it was just a really terrible throw by Gardner Minshew. think of a phrase, he missed the layup. You know, it was maybe a 7-yard throw that, you know, you really do think a quarterback who's starting in the NFL can make, and he just misses it completely. And yes, you know, the media, many Colts fan pages were, you know, rightly infuriated by the drop, and you know, immediately put the heat on Shane's play call. But you know, we left a lot to be achieved that game. You know, it really didn't need to go that tight, but it did. I mean, yes, you know, I was really excited for Richardson's return. You know, I felt that way most of the season, but you know, Minshew brought us some good memories. I mean, you know, week 4, would you ever have said we would have been in a winning in position?
You'd probably no. You wouldn't. If you're being honest, you wouldn't, would you?
I would never have suspected it, and you know, it's clear that's what Las Vegas have bought into as well. You know, he's a very capable backup, but he needs his shot in a starting role, I would say. You know, Minshew was very open all season. This was not his team. You know, it was Anthony's team, and he was just overseeing it and helping to coach him. But I just can't wait for draft night. You know, we were talking about it before we come on, and maybe we'll move on to it after our season review. But you know, are we going to get our missing weapon come Thursday night?
Yeah, I mean, so my point with the last play of the season, let's call it the Minshew miss pass, is I get it. I get what he's trying to do, but I think sometimes just run the ball. And that, but I can't be mad at a rookie head coach trying something different. You know, try. I really can't hold it against him for going, this is where I show who I am. Now, if we get to a winning in game again, and he makes similar mistakes, that's where I'm going to be like, okay, now, like, once it's cute, twice it's just stupid. But like I say, you can't look on one moment in a season that defines your whole season. Otherwise, we could go back to week 2 and say, oh, do you remember when Anthony Richardson missed the open Alec Pierce for a touchdown, and that would have won it? Like, it's just not doable. You know, so we're all gutted, but we're all looking forward to the next. Get Anthony Richardson. Let's get a team going. Let's get Shane Steichen's team. Let's get his system in, you know, all that jazz. The other part of the season I want to touch on is, the other side of the ball is the defense. My thoughts on Mr. Bradley is...
You're his biggest fan, right?
Yeah. My main problem is he's cleverer than he lets his defenses be. And for a coach who's so experienced, and not just at a defensive coordinator position, he's been a head coach as well. You have to be able to adapt in game. You can't just run a base defense. When teams mess with tempo, you've got to force them to play your tempo, not the other way around. And I think there's a great saying in sports where if you don't control the situation will control you. And I know Gus Bradley is a lot better than what his defense was last year. I know he is, and that's my biggest annoyance. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, I think we was on our 9th string cornerbacks, you know, guys who are probably going to be in Mackey's right now working. So I can give him that side, you know, I can see that side of the coin. So I'm not all out, but I need to see some aggressiveness for him, right? Because I need him to be going to Chris Ballard saying, no, we need to go and get a free agent cornerback. We need to go and get it. And not just, yeah, I'll make do with the guys I've got.
Yeah, I think, someone will have to find a stat for me, but I was reading a post-season review, and I'm pretty sure the Bradley run cover 3 over 70% of his play calls, which is just so outdated. He's clearly stuck in the Seattle days, which Seattle had the players to run that system consistently. We don't have that. We're clearly a different style of defense, but you're exactly right. I know that you sit in the chair of the Gus Bradley fan club. To anybody watching, he really doesn't. But yeah, I mean, well, let me pose a question to you. So, DeForest Buckner gets re-signed, and they leave a big hole in our cap this year, which is very out of the ordinary for a Ballard contract. Is this the cornerback money? Is this the safety money? Is it going to allow us to go offensive in round 1 and pick up that piece in free agency? What do you think?
I would love that if it was true, because I think we still need 2 first-round talents on either side of the ball, in the sense that we need a first-rounder talent on offense and we need a first-rounder talent on defense. Now, I'm not saying we have to trade up to get 2 first-round picks, but like a Tyrann Mathieu or someone who is valued that high.
Yeah.
I suppose, and I love bringing it back to soccer for anyone else who's watching, like you say, who's American. I love bringing it back to soccer and Arsenal, but we went through a period where we were just signing washed up people who didn't want to play, Willian from Chelsea and stuff like that. Fucking Gallas, just guys who couldn't be bothered playing, a couple of years left on the playing career, and just, they pick up a few million. And we've been a bit like that over the few years at Colts, with cornerbacks. Some have made some great plays. I thought Gilmore had a good season for the Colts. Me personally, I don't understand why we didn't re-sign him. But we need a 26, 27-year-old who's got 4 years of elite playing time left, who wants to push. And so I would love that to be the case, that we go out in whatever it is now, free agency tampering period. I don't know how it works. It's a bit different to just transfer markets that we're used to. But if we went out and really got someone, and I'm not saying it has to be, a Shaquille Leonard. I'm not saying it has to be that, but just someone who everyone else in the league goes, oh, I didn't realize the Colts had that pulling power. That would be really, really nice if we could do that. Just before we move on to the next point, for anyone watching, join in the conversation. My internet's fixed itself now, so I can actually chat real time and not just panic widely try and give it away on screen. But if you like the stream, it helps us grow our content. It lets us know what you guys want, and it grows the Colts family over this side of the pond. And I suppose a sidebar, Nathan, you're really happy for your fellow countryman, Louis Ramsnett?
Close.
I'll call him
Louis Rees-Zammit. Yeah, very happy. I think it was a great landing spot. And, the media over here are hyping it up, especially Welsh media. But if we think Kansas City, we think creative offense, trick plays, jet sweeps, and I'm probably going to eat these words, but I think there's probably a 10% chance he might get on the field, whereas lots of other players in the pathway, you're probably looking at 1 to 2% chance you're going to even put a foot on the grass, whereas Zammit is a proven speedster, a proven special talent, and I just think it's a perfect fit. Trick plays and whatnot. Mahomes is going to love it too. He's got elite speed, so we'll see, and hopefully it finally gets the NFL in Cardiff in the Millennium Stadium. It's been a long time coming, but hopefully we see it in the next few years.
That'd be nice. I mean, I suppose just to close this little sidebar, but the kickoff rules have changed, and it's gone to the XFL Summer League style, whatever you want to call it, which is more set up to a rugby union, rugby league player, than it is an NFL player. I'm not saying an NFL player couldn't do it, but it's a very similar style to a rugby kickoff.
Yeah.
Like you say, he's a speedster, and the lateral running in rugby will be so important for end arounds and I forget what it's called, the wide receiver jet play, is it?
Yeah, jet sweeps and stuff.
Jet sweep, that's it. Yeah, sorry. Which I think you mentioned. So that lateral running and the little rugby step, the little mini juke, whatever it is, will be so. If you can translate that to American football and padded football, I think, like you say, I don't think he's going to be there just to make up the numbers. And he's taken a big risk, because he was obviously primed for Welsh greatness, and if you're an international for Wales, you're going to be loved forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could probably walk into any pub in Wales if you played for Wales, and you're not touching your wallet.
Yeah, very much so.
But yeah, no, look, so like you say, hopefully it grows the game over here. So the Colts season, last season, was it better than you expected after the initial disappointment of the injury?
Absolutely, it was. I think if we look at the real positives as well, we got Jonathan Taylor re-signed. We got Taylor back on the field. That's part of my excitement next year is Taylor and Richardson in the same backfield. That to me should be putting the league on alert. But anyway, focusing more on last year. Pittman gets the 1,000 yard season again. Still insane to me that he hasn't had the same QB for a season yet. It's, I think it hinders what he can actually do. We know Pitt's a complete dog, which is why he got his bag. But, I think a lot of us are really crossing our fingers just that he gets Richardson for a whole season next year. We saw the O-line, I think, return to, maybe people will come at me here, but, top 8, top 5 O-line again. There's a lot of money invested in that line. It's not been good over the last 3 years. Back end of 22-23 and now 23-24, that line's back. We've got solid protection, and we all know how much Ballard sings about those trenches. Another player that I think really, really excites me is Josh Downs. We saw, a third-round rookie who really didn't fit the Ballard mold of, 6'5", 6'7", mega athlete. This was a really different style of draft pick for us, and he was just awesome, absolutely awesome out of the slot. So, and I'm not hearing people talk about Downs much. When we get drawn into draft rumors and the US media, it's always Pittman and Pierce that they talk about. Whereas for me, Downs should be in that conversation. The guy's a special player, clearly.
I fully agree. For me, I mean, Downs was my favourite player, I would say, of the season, or favourite surprise, let's say.
Yeah.
Because third round rookie slot receiver, I don't expect much. I don't mean that in any slight to the kid. I just you just don't really, you think, all right, we'll let him bed in, let him get a feel for the team. He's going to have one or two plays maybe where we go, okay, this is the guy. But I think you stick him on a, not to, kick a dead horse or whatever the saying is, but you stick him on a Kansas City or a Dallas Cowboys, and I don't think the media would have shut up about him.
Oh, I totally agree. I think you make an excellent point there. We're not very well represented in the media, but you're totally right. His face would have been everywhere. I'm thinking Philadelphia too, if he was an Eagle, if he was on even the Jets at the moment, how much they're getting. That's a very good point. He's being slept on, which is good for the kid. It'll feed him even more.
Yeah. If teams are going to give us Josh Downs every play, I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah.
Right, to wrap it up now, because these shows we want to try and keep shorter, especially the off season, because as much as you want to do a 24/7 content channel in the off season, sometimes you just need to keep it short and sweet.
Yeah.
And keep people talking about the Colts. So just to, like I say, to end it, what are you looking at? Because I know you like digging into your mock drafts and stuff like that. You really do your research when it comes to stuff like this. You like picking players. What are you, if you're Chris Ballard, what are you fighting with Ed Dodds about to get? Like, who are you fighting to get?
So I remember when we had Colts fan Cole on, and he asked us for our big prediction, and mine at the time was Ballard trades up for a receiver, and at the time I was kind of bought into the hype of Keon Coleman out of Florida State, who's certainly dropping back in draft boards at the moment. But more to your point, I think if Ballard was going to move up, this is the year he has to do it. I was looking at a tweet that Dan Orlovsky sent earlier, and it was so true. Do Kansas City and Buffalo regret the assets they sent to get Josh Allen, to get Patrick Mahomes? I'm remembering when Atlanta moved up to select Julio Jones. Is this the year we go up and get the son of one of the greatest receivers of all time, but also of Colts history in Marvin Harrison Jr.? Or I really like Malik Neighbors too, out of LSU. I think he could still be there between picks 6 and 10. We'll see. But yeah, to answer your question, I hope this is the year he goes up, because we've got the rookie quarterback contract. We've got that padding that every team wants to make real moves in. Will we? We're used to Ballard trading back by now. I would not be shocked if, we're waiting eagerly, excited. The Colts banner pops up. Colts are picking in. No, we're not. We've traded back. So, one name to watch, I would say, is Xavier Worthy. They've done extensive work on him, and I'm pretty sure Steichen attended his Texas Pro Day. So that's definitely a name to watch out for.
Excellent. Yeah, I say as soon as I don't even care if it's actually any good, but as soon as I saw Harrison Jr. wearing blue Louis Vuittons in the Lucas Oil Stadium, I was like, come on, Chris. Like, surely Marvin's on the phone to Reggie.
Yeah.
Surely Marvin's on the phone to Reggie saying, come on, like this. And then, a couple of years we get Eugene Hilton in the building. We just run it back.
Yeah. Just get the kids in.
Guys on rotation.
Bring the kids in. But
bring to work day.
Yeah.
But no, I would absolutely love that. If I'm being realistically optimistic, if that is a real term, I could see us trading up for Brock Bowers.
Yeah, that's not off the cards either. I agree.
We know Ballard loves an injury-prone player, so why not?
Can you imagine Bowers in the Steichen system? Many people in the media are saying it would be the perfect fit. He's so good after the catch.
Tight end one.
Yeah.
Obviously, because Robbie's going to watch this, obviously, nobody beats Jack Doyle. We all agree Jack Doyle is a god amongst men. But if anyone's to hold a torch to him, it's going to be Brock Bowers, and we do need a real tight end one, and not somebody who's, I don't want to be talking about in 4 weeks going, oh, he's really good in the blocking game. He's really good in the running game. That's all well and good, but we need a proper tight end.
We do. It's every quarterback's best friend. So let's get them young and let's get them, ready to have a career together. So I would not be sad if Bowers is the pick.
Anyway, that's it from me. Nathan, unless you have anything.
No, all good. Nice to be back, mate. Nice to be sitting on StreamYard with you.
Yeah, it is good to be back. Like I say, so hopefully Thursday night, Friday morning, Thursday evening for anyone else. We're going to be doing a live watch along, hopefully with a draft, where I'll be hosting, hopefully get a few people in, get a few guests on, trying to get people like Colts fan Cole and other content creators in the Colts atmosphere to come in and chat with us. Thank you everyone for watching. See you later.